Welcome back to Riven. We last left off miraculously surveying this linking book, which we found by deploying, various animals here in this area. I have no idea where this is going to go. I feel like I shouldn't be here or be able to be here, and maybe that this is the end of the game and it shouldn't be. But what happens if I click it? I guess I ought to save first, eh? Save game. And this is the first real linking book that's working that we've seen. But what is this strange, it's like a tree that's got all these, it's like people are living in it. We're gonna find out. What's going on? I feel like that was a mistake. Oh boy. I just got blow darted. Yeah, we're going there, buddy. A, I don't speak your language. B, I'm drugged right now. So these must be rebels, possibly? They talked about rebels. And they had plenty of frogs with which to make blow darts. And these guys behave like rebels. They all whisper in the shadows and ambush you and stuff like that. Okay, I'm in a cave. I'm in a... No food. Come on, guys. Not even some gruel. Well, I look down upon from my little hole in the wall. And I am a prisoner. This has not gone well. This has not gone well at all. Hello? If I cause a disturbance, will you come? There's someone out there taking a smoke break. Interesting, there's like nests inside the nest. Like this big nest in a tree. Can I climb under it like I did in the last one? No. He's still out there smoking. Such a different time. Now he'd be out there standing on his smartphone. Clicky clicky. Oh, hello. Are you here to save me from my misery or end my misery? They're very different things. Catherine went to Sao Paulo. I'm going to Aleppo. Maybe you'd like to play Baccarat in the Philippines. Decide. No, all that is made up that I just said. But she did say Catarino or Catarina. I don't even know how to play Baccarat anyway, so. Well, I've got my books back. my journal. My... What is this? Ooh. Somebody else's effects. And Dunny? Did I just end this game in a horribly wrong way? Okay, let's read this. I linked to Riven a week ago. The smell of the place overwhelmed me moments before I could see anything. With my sight only partially cleared, I stood motionless, peering ahead through a dim veil which was slowly lifting. There was a violent clang and bars appeared. I remember breathing slowly and very deeply, tasting the familiar Riven air, but not recognizing a thing. Hey, you went into Genghis Khan's hat like we did. I must have been hit with the dart right away. I thought it was an insect bite at first. I'm trying to remember it all, but it's difficult, maybe because of the drug. There was a voice. A man I did not recognize stood before me. Rivenese. Ah, it is Rivenese. Good. Though he was wearing a dunny dress. He seemed to be talking to me, but the poison was already taking effect, and a shadow crept in, and I fell asleep. Then there were the many voices, but I understood none of them. Like hundreds of people whispering, I couldn't wake up. No matter, the dream did end, and now to be here with Eddie. It's been so many years, I didn't realize how much I missed her. Like a piece of me that I had forgotten I'd lost. She's beautiful and so full of warmth, but the years have also left her with a wound which was not there when we were children. I do wish she were more interested. It seems like... I will write this note. I write quickly from my prison. Nella will return your book with the moiety intercepted upon your arrival. After questioning her, I've concluded it was written by Atris for a very specific purpose. Gen will desire to use it, although he may have suspicions. If you can find my prison, you will still need the combination to release me. Gen keeps it in his office. Then I assume we're to signal Atris. I think I know how it might be done, but don't signal him before I am released. Got it. Catherine. Okay. So this is actually Catherine's writing. Perhaps Eddie is her sister? That's why I can't read this writing. It's very different. It seems like I'm asking all the questions. It's awkward. No one asks where I've been or what I've been doing. This hurts, but I understand that their beliefs are born out of ignorance and oppression. They are a gentle people, but they've had their nest destroyed, and now they frantically cling to anything that might save them. But why have they chosen to cling to me? I'm confused. As a child, I always felt out of place here. I never belonged. They misunderstood me, and I couldn't relate to them. But now I'm overwhelmed by an intense feeling that I owe everything to them and to this place. I thought I would never see them again, and yet I'm here. I've been given this second chance. But a second chance at what? Saving them? Fulfilling their prophecies? Being their savior? And a beautiful drawing of 3 people. The moiety. Atris would want me to chronicle all that I've learned. I can at least record some of it. It seems that when Atris and I trapped Gen on Riven many years ago, our efforts were witnessed by most of the inhabitants here. 2 of the Rivenese even witnessed the confrontation with Gen at the fissure, where I linked back to Mist, and where Atris threw himself into the abyss. Of course, they understood little of what they were seeing, but they somehow were able to guess that we had won. That Gen was no god at all, but only a feeble impostor, a false god, and that we had trapped him here on Riven. I always hoped they would deduce this simple truth, but their further conclusions have astonished me. Atris had stripped Gen of his power, therefore Atris must be a true god. As a god, he was chasing me, the spiritual misfit from a Rivenese womb, to be his wife. I was transcending into deity and would lord over Riven forever. It's an interesting prophecy. Thus the moiety, as they call themselves, were born a dissident society, sworn enemies of Gen. I did not know of their beliefs regarding Atris and myself until 2 days ago. Eddie was, for some reason, hesitant to tell me. I can't figure out why. I know she doesn't believe these things. Of course, everyone had assumed that I would be aware of my own god status, so they made no effort to inform me, and I only realized it at a recent gathering, to which I was invited. I sat at the front of a dimly lit and crowded cave as they told a mythical story of my own life, acting out the battle between Atris, myself, and Gen at the edge of the fissure. The events had been exaggerated into grandiose proportions. It was offensive, but I was unable to to stop it. I was unable to break the illusion, which is the very foundation of their hope and purpose, and which has given them courage to band together and rebel against Gen. Since then, I have learned of other doctrines and beliefs that have evolved, the most disturbing of which is the conviction that one day I would return to Riven to free them. Some believe that I will overthrow Gen, others believe that I will bring them to paradise. I don't know how to deal with this. I fight myself. I love these people, my only real kindred, but they will not love me as an equal, which hurts me. I would rather be their slave than their master. Some interesting drawings of what she's seen. Over the years, as Gen's power has become greater and greater, the moiety's numbers have grown, and they have become more and more adept at hiding themselves. They now live in a complex network of caves that he still has not discovered. The moiety, for the most part, have completely severed their relationship with any of the Rivenese that choose against joining them, but I hope they've not sacrificed vital limbs in order to remove the cancer. Even Father and Anant are still on the surface in Gen's domains, and I long to see them, but a dimness shrouds Eddie's face every time I've mentioned them. Since this break took place, they have interfered with the surface in superficial ways, occasionally sabotaging one of Gen's constructions or stealing food from the villagers. They wear strange masks and costumes, driving their short forays the island's surface, and take this regalia very seriously, refusing to be seen by anyone outside the moiety unless they are properly attired. So they've got this ritual dress keeping them hidden from everyone. They get much pleasure out of the fact that those on the surface are frightened by their costumes, calling them evil spirits or ghosts. It was during one of these expeditions that they fortuitously saved me from one of Gen's men when I first appeared on the island. Otherwise, I'm sure I would have been delivered to Gen immediately. I've no doubt that he's now searching for me. Of course, I am aware that I was fooled. Atris is not here. I was at first devastated by this realization. Now I am thankful. He would be in extreme peril here. Also, there is quiet inner voice, an echoing remnant that wants him far away. I have just witnessed an age dying, gasping its last breath. Today I ventured to the surface to see what has become of this island. I hoped it would not be as bad as the moiety had reported. It was worse. They have become slowly accustomed to its steady decay, but I was devastated. The lips from which the kiss is wrought has fallen words, will fall cold breath. The womb from which the cry released has suffered hurt, will suffer death. To get to the surface we had to travel through a complex series of doors and passages. Before the last of these doors, they offered me a weapon, which I accepted, and then a mask. I held the mask in my hands for a while, wondering what sort of terror it might invoke in those members of my family who still live on the surface. But I also know I must keep my identity hidden from Gen's ever-vigilant eye, so I accepted it as well. Then, together, we swam a short expanse and emerged out of the surface of the ocean under a rocky overhang. The harsh sunlight made my eyes sting, but the fresh, rich air was exhilarating after these past weeks in the dank cave. The two men with me were silent, communicating only with hand signals. The three of us emerged from a hiding place and made our way to the top of the plateau. At the edge of a thick and overgrown area of the forest, they stopped, peered through the foliage for a moment, and then turned to me as if awaiting my command. But I could not respond. In fact, I found it difficult to move. I was smelling, hearing, and breathing my youth. This swept over me in a matter of seconds, but in seconds more, all feeling was gone. There was numbness. We did not stay long on the surface, but it was long enough to see the worst. Riven, which was once an island, is split apart into 5 distinct pieces, about half a mile apart. 4 of these have been claimed by Gen as his exclusive domain. Only his ministers and personal militia are ever allowed access to them. From my vantage point at the edge of the forest, I could see 3 of these islands. They are stripped of their former beauty and are riddled with Gen's self-absorbed constructions. The moiety rarely visit these closely guarded places. There was another island which I could not see, as it had evidently crept away to a terrific distance. The moiety are very unclear as to what exists on this island, except for the fact that they know it is where the great tree used to exist. The forest is located on an island that the surface dwellers and the moiety still refer to as Riven, though they also still refer to their entire world as Riven. This island is where the village is, which has changed dramatically. It is also the one remaining province of the people, though Gen's influence can be everywhere. Of course, I know the reason for the fracturing of the islands. The moiety do not. Gen wrote this place, and it will die, as all of Gen's ages eventually die. So perhaps that's where we are now, and we had to link to it because it was so far away. So we have, this is where the paper mill was, the kind of quarry area, the Golden Dome, the inhabitants area where the villagers are, and the kind of viewing topographic map area. And there's one island that's far away, I guess. I feel nothing today. I am nothing. I live in a cave on a dying world inhabited by people that they are treating me so strangely. They don't know how to relate to a god. I'm still an outcast here. They whisper amongst themselves, talking of my bravery during my excursions to the surface, how I walked across the island, bold and unafraid. They don't know me. Even Eddie is uncomfortable around me. At times there is no awkwardness, and I am only Katrin to her, but at other times I am something else. I am afraid. There's such a gaunt numbness inside me. Today I do not feel closeness with my people. Neither am I offended by their worship of me. I do not hate Gen. I don't feel anything. At least Nila is still close. I am boiling. Gen is making and writing books. I wish they had told me sooner. Atris should have realized this would happen. Of course, Gen would have written all of the materials necessary to the dunny craft of making books into this age, and probably every other age he ever wrote. He is attempting to write his way out of here. We did not imprison him. We only delayed him. This age has become his factory, and the people are his machines, all in his mad pursuit to become a god, to carry on his noble dunny cause. So far, he has not been able to produce a fully functional book. Atris has never believed in destiny, and I don't know what else to call it. It's too perfect. It's too much of a coincidence. They hang on my every word, though they do not understand them. I am their hope. And now I have returned. I owe this to them. There is no choice. It's been a long time since my last entry. It's hard to recognize, but I have found the Star Fissure. It is located on the island which the Rivenese call Aleppo, meaning water pool, but which is referred to by the moiety as Alatwan, meaning pool of stars. Having once allowed Atris to escape this age without leaving an open door behind us, it has since been sealed with the skin of heavy iron. A crude telescope has been mounted over a locked viewport, the combination to which was acquired by the moiety before my arrival. Okay, this is the combination to the viewer. It is 3, 3, 5, 4, 3. 3, 3, 5, 4, 3. Yes. In the early days, the moiety, seeking an escape from Riven, briefly pursued the idea of reopening the fissure. They discovered a small mechanical stop to prevent the scope from hitting the portal window. Ultimately, however, they decided against opening it. I hate to think what would have happened to them if they had not left it alone. I've instructed them to stay away from it, but I'm almost certain that with the decayed state of the islands, opening the fissure now would be disastrous. I have heard that in the days immediately following Gen's confinement on Riven, he attempted to determine the feasibility of navigating the stars beneath the fissure, for he had seen the mist book fall from Atris' hands into the very same space. To this end, he would have had people, alleged transgressors of the law, thrown into it so that he could observe their fate. The telescope which still stands there was one he had built for these callous experiments. Well, he clearly has no problem throwing people to beasts or to whatever, so that's not surprising. It is said that they did not die, but what became of them remains a mystery. It appears that the limits of Gen's optics prevented him from learning their fate. The star field beneath the fissure is not as it seems. It is a gentle space, as hospitable to life as a flowing river. This is how Atreus explained it after he had fallen into it. But much more than that we've never understood, as we were never able to conclude upon its origins, but the visions tell me that it was born out of the will of the Maker, perhaps for some greater purpose that we cannot yet understand. I still remember Atreus's words from his journal. I realized the moment I fell into the fissure that the book would not be destroyed as I had planned. It continued falling into that starry expanse. You might remember that from the very opening of Mist. There must be some greater reason behind it. I neglected to mention it earlier. The unique shape of one of the great daggers which appeared during our escape from Riven, the very dagger that stands vertically at one end of the Aleptoan, has been adopted by the moiety as the symbol of their cause. It is a sacred symbol for them. It is the representation of all their doctrine and their representation of me. To deface the symbol is sacrilege. They have their own mythical explanation regarding its sudden origins. I haven't told them that I wrote it into this age along with all the other daggers. It's strange how such a young religion can be so unbending, even to their own god. I have tried to dissuade them of the notion that the symbols contain so much power. The enemy uses this passion and paranoia against them. They are fearful of Gen's symbol and are terrorized by this symbolic use of the work, which I think is the narwhal. But they don't want to hear it from me. Perhaps my attempts have even caused some of the younger members of the moiety to doubt that I am Catherine. My rare encounters with those who say they follow Gen have been discouraging. I have hoped to have some communication with the surface villagers, but they always flee from me. But I have heard news of some of the villagers' beliefs regarding Gen. Soon after we trapped Gen on Riven, he claimed that he was responsible for the daggers, placing them around the island as a reminder of their failure. In the village circles, I'm told that this was a punitive act performed by Gen to mark the beginning of a period of restitution, at the end of which, if they have proven their devotion to him, they will be delivered unto a new and better existence. I will continue to try to reach them. The door is open, and Gen is free. Gen has the ability to create working books. In fact, he had written one age before I arrived, and he has kept this accomplishment so well hidden that only his closest ministers were aware until now. I'm not sure. Perhaps he has written others. Other news, a few years ago, before the moiety were forced into hiding, some of them managed to steal what appeared to be a textbook that Gen had intended to destroy. It had been partially written, but did not work. Testbook, I'm sorry. They didn't talk with me about it until now, because they thought it was useless. Back then, none of Gen's books worked, but instead of correcting the problem at its source, he blamed it on the impure wood of the Riven forest, and proceeded to engineer a cumbersome mechanical remedy, a complex series of domes, to heal his book's inherent flaws. One of the consequences of this crude solution, however, was that the domes demanded huge amounts of energy, and the related problems delayed his success for quite some time. At last, however, he finished his work and was finally able to link to an age, but he kept his success extremely well hidden. However, for some reason or another, belligerent pride, he has made modifications to the domes which make it obvious that he's using the domes to breathe life into his half-dead books. Perhaps he means to lure us into using the books under the domes. He can't believe that we would blindly swallow this suicidal idea. But he wouldn't know that we have one of his books, the stolen burnt book. There is a feasibility of is scratched out. I've read Burnt Book. Age it describes would be unsuitable as new home for the moiety, must be modified. I will dream. I have requested a group to solve combination that will open the domes. Once open, we can power the Burnt Book. I do not think Gen will interfere. He will leave the bait. Yeah, so here's the home we are now. I've begun writing the moiety's age, now must acquire second book from Gen. There is tension. A strain blurs my vision, and nightmares. Nella and Eddie stay close. Much has happened. Almost everything is prepared. We have stolen another book, but I'm concerned Gen will miss it. We have also discovered the combinations for entering the domes, but we have not discovered the method for powering them. By powering our burnt book with Gen's domes, we will be able to link to this age, but we will only have access to the domes for a short of time before we are discovered. Therefore, we can only use the domes once. I must find another way to make the books work. The gateway images in Gen's books and our burnt book all seem to share the same sickness. If they are not powered, the images are bleak. It might be possible to clear the vision with only will write substance into the moiety age. So this is what Gen was referring to, that Catherine had come up with something portable versus this really complicated thing. All is ready. Now all we can do is wait for word from the Moiter-esque, who are on the lookout for Gen to power and use the domes. When he does that, we will have access to one of Gen's domes, just long enough. After linking to the age, which I've written, I only have to locate the book window substance and refine or adjust it. Laying this window over the gateway image should heal the books and make them work. This will allow me to use the second stolen book and return to Riven with more of the book windows. We will then no longer have to rely on Gen's clumsy domes. I laugh at these plans. I sound like Atris. I'm risking my life, but I feel no fear, only anxiety. Perhaps it is the source of my nightmares. The fissure, like a great mound, is opened. It stains the riven soil with blood. I'll hold the moiety knife. The voices grow so loud. For their part, the moiety have complete faith that I will accomplish my task and lead them to a better world. It is the fulfillment of their prophecy. But they are also fearful and tense. I don't know what they will think or do if I fail. It is done. It seems too good to be true. I feel like it is all still a dream. We have already evacuated all of the moiety to this new age. It is beautiful, and I am pleased. At last, my people will live in safety and comfort. They stand under the bare sky, unafraid and dazzled by their freedom. They are happy. They have named it Tay. There's still much to be done. We are not protected yet. The only way to completely safeguard the place is to destroy the book which links here from Riven, but I do not even know how to bring this up to the moiety. They will be extremely reluctant about destroying their only link to Riven. I share this hesitation. I would be cutting off my only connection, but for their sake it must be done. I am anxious to know if our activities have aroused Gen's suspicions. If so, we must act quickly. Even so, I fear that now we are impregnable. Tomorrow I will return to Riven to see Gen's reaction for myself, but tonight I finally rest. And, as we know, after that, she was captured.
Sira po. Ibuko mo buko wisipo. Na vene, tapo mo revene beno.
So she's got a device.
Now, Katerina ne. Wisifa polo ya sepe yai.
I think that was please find Catherine. We don't know what to do without her. I'm reading the tone of voice. Should I look out? Is there anything new happening? I thought I heard some conversation in the background. I think not. That's all I get to see of this world. Well, suppose we'll go back. Well, now what? Catherine is hidden. There's a lot of good information all at once, and I'm not sure what to do with it. We know the viewer combo, but I don't really want to be messing about with that yet. There's a lever panel that we never did figure out here, which is why we're here. Well, perhaps we'll try. Let's see, is the submarine is still underneath. somewhere. Probably over there. How am I to get over there is what I want to know. Well, that whole age was just like some backstory. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I thought I had made a whole lot of progress and was in some other world at the end of the book, and we got a lot of good story. But it was just a hop there, get drugged up by a blowgun, and then back to where we were with an extra book or two. So I guess we need to. This is the link back to Dunny, but it's all kind of cloudy. So we need to put this back in the viewer thingy, I guess. One of the domes, under one of the domes, to be able to use it. Is the baby still crying? Wink. Okay, good. Now we can return. Right, that's what I was doing before all this started. Now I've read 30 minutes of book, so I have to figure out how to get back to the underside. It is down there, and we need to go around the back. And I've already forgotten how to do that. How intarnation? Intarnation. And this was why I was like, let's go all the way around here and disturb the dudes again. Thank you for your service. You helped me determine to get to that linking book. Again, never would have thought of that. Just pick some animals on the island. Yeah, here we go. Okay, this was the right way. And through. We need to get to that room with the levers, and I don't entirely remember how to get there. But away we go. One more. This is not where we want to stop because we are in front of the drop-off point, the punishment cell. We could sell tickets to this as some kind of amusement park ride. We must press on. Left or right? Let's go left. I don't even remember. I should have made a map of this. But I thought, it's not that complicated. How hard could it be? This is the school, I believe. But I could be wrong. Yep, back to the school. Okay, with that, I think I'm going to end this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching, and tune in next time when we try to figure out how to find Gen, I guess. So, have a great night, and cheers.